Hi everyone, Jay here from Actually ADHD. In today's video, I'm going to talk about long-term planning and how we ADHDers can make it happen. First, what is long-term planning and how is it affected by ADHD? When I say long-term planning, I mean plans or goals that will take at least 1 year to complete. I know that sounds daunting. How can we possibly commit to anything that will take that long to achieve? After all, ADHDers are notorious for job hopping, changing majors every 6 months, and never finishing anything. So yeah, those things are all true. ADHDers struggle with delayed gratification. We get distracted easily, find repetitive tasks boring, and change special interests or hyperfixations pretty regularly. But you know what's actually kind of neat about ADHD and long-term planning? We're actually set up pretty decently for it. We just need to approach it in an ADHD-friendly way. See, one of the reasons we don't like even the idea of long-term planning is how restrictive it can feel. And we're nothing if not driven by how things feel. So, the first thing you want to do is change how you think of planning as a whole. Rather than considering it an inflexible schedule or timeline, try reorienting yourself to think of planning as a way to set yourself some general guidelines that you can easily change as needed. The other big reason we shy away from planning is how hard it feels. It's so detailed. There are so many steps. We give up before we even begin because the neurotypical way of planning is just so dang complicated. Well, guess what? Planning doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, if we stick to the idea of plans being general guidelines, we'll find that we're really good at it. Why? Because the ADHD brain is particularly suited to big picture thinking. We might drown in details, but we're really good at understanding the whole. It's important to remember that all we're going to talk about today is long-term planning. I'm hoping to bring you right along to daily planning this month, but everything starts with the big idea. If you go to the link in the description, you'll find some worksheets you can download to help you with this process later. If you want to do this along with me, you'll need paper and a pen or pencil. Remember to pause the video if you aren't finished with a step when I'm ready to move on. Your first step is to think about what your ideal life would be like. Write down everything that you think would make you happy and content. Think about work, school, family, pets, your home, your health, anything and everything. Next, go through your list and categorize everything. The categories should be related to your life, and you should have between 3 and 5. More than 5 is going to overcomplicate things and be overwhelming, and fewer than 3 isn't going to give you enough separation. I recommend home, personal, and work or school to start. Other possible categories include family, friends, and finances. Just see how your different ideas about your life fit together and name the category after whatever is the same. Now, you get to write 1 to 3 goals for each category. These are going to be positive statements about your ideal life, and they will hopefully cover everything you wrote down. A few things about writing your goals. Number 1, I am not a fan of SMART goals for ADHDers. Time isn't real, and due to how inconsistent we can be, I think that giving yourself deadlines will be just way too stressful, especially at this point in the process. 2, don't worry about being perfect. Remember, they're going to change over time, and you can absolutely make adjustments as your circumstances change. These are, again, general guidelines, not restrictive expectations or demands. I suggest you use what I call the 4 A's to write your goals. These are basically the same as the SMAR from SMART goals minus the deadline part. That's the T. What are the 4 A's? Accurate, accessible, attainable, and applicable. Let me define these words for you. Accurate. You want to be clear about what you want to achieve. I don't think you need to be super detailed at this stage, and I think it's probably better to be clear and general than to get bogged down in details. Accessible. You want to write positive statements because it's easier to measure an increase than a decrease, and it's going to keep you thinking positively about your life. Attainable. You want your goals to be things you have control over and can potentially make happen. Applicable. You want your goals to make sense for you and your life, including your desires, skills, and preferences. I know I like to have examples, so here is one of my goals that I wrote using this method. Our home is clean, tidy, and comfortable, ready to receive visitors at any time. I am nowhere near achieving this goal, but it is what I hope for, and it gives me something to aim for. So let's look at it using the 4 A's. Accurate. I know what all of that means, and the words conjure up an image for me of what I want my home to be. Accessible. This is a positive statement, not a negative one. A negative version might be something like, I stop procrastinating on cleaning and decluttering. Sure, that may end up being how I get there, but I can't measure decluttering as easily as I can the words I chose. We know what clean is. We know what tidy is. Same with comfortable. There are tangible things I can do to make this a reality, and measuring my progress will be as simple as taking before and after pictures. Attainable. I really do believe this is an attainable goal. Past experience tells me that putting a deadline in place will make it less attainable because it will be stressful and I will likely get sidelined by anxiety. Applicable. My home is a disaster. I know what to do, but initiation is hard and inertia is my nemesis. But I have always wanted to live in a home where friends and family could feel free to stop by at any time, and I am determined to make it happen. Okay, so that's long-term planning, or at least goal setting. I hope this approach is helpful for you. If all goes well, next week I'll be posting a video about monthly planning and project planning, which will start the process of turning your goals into actual practical actions you can take to help you achieve them. This week's question is, do you do long-term planning or do you fly by the seat of your pants? Let's talk about it. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and keep an eye out for my next video. Peace and blessings.